Hi everybody, Brett Thomas back with another video, and today I wanted to demonstrate on how to use the old-fashioned Danish soap finish, and I'm going to be demonstrating this on a couple pine boards here. So the Danish soap finish, our own proprietary soap base, it comes ready to use right out of the can. And as far as surface preparation, basically, you want to sand your boards to your desired level. 220 is usually sufficient, and then remove the dust off of the wood by vacuuming or brushing or whatever. But so the first thing you want to do is give it a little stir. And right now it's middle of July, so it's kind of watery, the soap. So just give it a little stir. In the winter months, this may be more like a pudding or porridge, and you could still use it like that, but I would recommend putting the soap in a saucepan and putting it on the stove and heating it up to about 120. And what it'll do is it'll liquefy the soap. So it's back, in fact, actually by warming it up, it'll actually thin it out even more. This is, it's nearly, I don't know, right now it's in the 70s. I'm trying to get this video shot before it gets too hot. It's supposed to be 100 today. So anyway, what I was going to say is don't walk away from the pan, because what will happen is it'll boil and you'll have a big mess. There'll be bubbles and soap everywhere. So just stand there, let it heat to 120. Anyways, in the winter months, it will be probably a lot thicker, more of like a pudding-like consistency. So this is a very easy, very simple wood finish that kind of has a history in the Scandinavian Nordic countries. And it's kind of gaining popularity here in the US. I've been a soap maker, full-time for 30 years. I started in 1994, and it's now 2024. So I'll include a couple pictures in the video, but we use these wood soap boxes, wood soap pans, and so I've been over the years, the boxes kind of, they've kind of gotten a soap buildup on them over the years, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, let me just be quiet here and brush. But this is one of my favorite brushes here. It's a natural bristle brush, and there's a little stiff there. So what you're going to do is just lay it down on the board. And this goes on bare wood only. And this is, like I said, these are pine boards. So just lay this down. It's really, you can't really mess it up. So you can, feel confident. I know it's kind of new, like I said, kind of new to the whole American market, but I know, think of this think of this as kind of oiling wood, like using a linseed oil. Oops, there I go, kicking the. So it's the wood right now is absorbing this soap, and you might be thinking, well, why should I be using soap? Well, soap is made from fats and oils, and it's saponified using you know, an alkaline solution, either sodium hydroxide for a bar or potassium hydroxide for a liquid soap. So like I was saying, it's pretty hard to mess this up. It's actually very simple to apply, very simple, very easy to clean up. You know, it offers a pretty nice level of protection. Obviously not the greatest, and this is for indoor use only. You wouldn't want to use this, you know, outdoors at all, because the rain, the weather would just, you know, wash it off. And just lay it on. These boards are, I don't know how old these pine boards are. These pallets are, I'm sorry, it was a pallet, a section of a pallet, and so I don't know how old these boards are, but they're kind of thirsty. So anyways, just lay it on there and it will just start soaking it in. But what I was saying was, you know, soap is made from fats and from oils, and after you turn them into, like, let's say a bar of soap, it's kind of a waxy like substance, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get an oil and a wax kind of in one. So the board on the right there, you can see it's already like I said, it was pretty thirsty. It's already soaked up nearly all the soap, and so no need to wait. I'm just going to go ahead and add another coat. And I don't know, if I had to guess the thickness of it, yeah, it's a little thicker than like milk, like whole milk. But like I said, if you warmed it, it would thin it out a little bit more. Maybe it's thick like chocolate milk. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry, my video skills are kind of crummy. Trying to get more proficient at it. So this is coat number 2, and you don't have to wipe this off, by the way. Don't worry about wiping it off until your last coat, because it's kind of a waste. You apply it, you're basically wanting the wood to absorb as much of the soap as possible. I've seen some other videos on YouTube where they're kind of wiping off each coat. Well, but the idea is just to get it in there, get it in the wood. So can you see on the left there, right here, it's soaked in pretty good. So I'm gonna just lay another coat on here. And you might be wondering, well, how many coats is this going to take? You know, it just depends on the wood. This is pine, pretty darn soft, and so it's going to suck up a lot of the soap. I've also done this on maple, and maple doesn't suck up much of it. Also, another thing is it kind of darkened up this this pine board, this specific one. It's kind of a rustic, I'm calling it a rustic pine board because it was outside, and I just sanded it down. I sanded off that kind of gray, if you know what I'm talking about. Here, I'll lift this up. But that gray layer, you know, that kind of develops, I just sanded it down, so your boards may not turn this kind of golden color. So kind of that's the idea. So what I'll do is I'll let this second coat soak in for a couple minutes, and I'll come back and do another. So obviously this has water in it. I mean, it's a soap solution, a very thick concentrated soap solution, and So it's going to raise the grain a little bit. So you might want to just knock down that raised grain very lightly. If you sand too much, you're gonna just sand lightly, because you're just wanting to get that knock that grain down. Because if you sand too aggressively, you're going to take off the soap, but then you're also kind of defeating the purpose. The next time you apply the soap, you will raise the grain again. So just sand lightly. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes maybe, and you can see it's still a little wet in a couple spots, but it's really soaking in. So I'm going to give it a third coat here. But what I wanted to do is, I know this might be boring, but I was going to read, because I'm trying to think of all the points, and so I was just going to read some of the info on the can. So you can always fast forward through this part, but I was just going to read some of this stuff because it might jog my memory. Okay, so directions for applying Thomas's Danish soap finish. First application. That's what we're doing here. Ready to use right out of the can. Do not dilute. Apply only to bare, unfinished wood. First sand your project up to your desired grit. 220 is usually sufficient, and vacuum or wipe off wood dust. Give soap a gentle stir using a paintbrush, paint roller, rag. Apply a generous coat of Danish soap finish to the wood and allow to soak in and dry. Don't bother wiping off excess until the last coat. So, like I said, it would just be a waste. After the first coat is totally dry, you may do a light sanding to knock down the grain that was raised. Obviously, we're going to put on 3, and I think I might let it sit and dry, and then I think that will bring that any grain up that would be coming up. Okay, so reapply as many coats as you like, but when the wood doesn't seem to be soaking up any more soap, you are done. So obviously the wood's only gonna, it's just like oiling wood, with like a linseed oil. It's only gonna soak up so much, and it takes time, for it to soak in. And you're gonna obviously do this over time. You're gonna do this, over the years. You're gonna periodically reapply this, just like you would an oil, but maybe more often. Okay, on the last coat, before it completely dries, wipe off any of the excess soap with a cotton towel. When the soap is like, after you've applied your last coat and you have wiped it off, the excess, when it's totally dry, come back with a cotton towel if you desire, and give it a buff, to create a light sheen. Okay, so maintenance. So you can dilute this for maintenance. Like, let's say this is on your kitchen, your dining room table. You could actually clean it daily if you wanted to, or once a week, or whatever's needed. So when the wood is appearing dirty and dull, reapply our Thomas's Danish soap finish with a paintbrush, rag, mop, obviously for floors, and allow to soak in. Before soap is fully dry, wipe off excess with cotton towel. You can also at any time spot treat any dirt or stained or discolored spot using this technique with a brush or rag. So here's a tip: keep a spray bottle on hand, and just use that, like for cleanup. I have here on the can, it could be mixed at 3-to-1. You may want to play with that ratio, maybe just 1-to-1, like 1 part Danish soap finish, 1 part water. You'll get a feel. You could maybe even go 2-to-1, and as high as 3-to-1. And I'm just speaking for maintenance, for cleanup. So basically what you're wanting to do is clean the wood surface with more of the soap, So if you did have a spill, just, don't, I guess what my point is don't clean it with 409 or Windex or something, clean it with the soap, you know. Okay, so the benefits, ready to use right out of the can, a soap finish. A Danish soap finish is a tried and true wood finish that's been used in Nordic and Scandinavian countries for hundreds of years. Danish soap finish is something that continues to build up over time and develops a beautiful patina and sheen. If you think of like linseed, if you oil your boards with linseed oil, they kind of over time, they build up that kind of nice luster, and they kind of get that golden color. But anyways, some woods will soak up more Danish soap finish than others, and that's true. Obviously, the softer woods are going to soak up more. Use on all bare woods. Use on all bare solid woods, bare floors, and bare furniture. We recommend testing our soap finish on a scrap of the same wood. Some woods may darken more than others, so I would recommend that before you commit to a big project. You may want to test it out on something small just to see if you like it. Not recommended for use on engineered woods, polywood. Not recommended for use on engineered woods, plywood, or veneers. Sorry, polywood's a plastic furniture maker. This is an interior finish and not recommended for outdoor use. I already mentioned that, so that kind of goes without saying. Super easy, non-toxic, all-natural wood finish with an easy cleanup. I mean, the cleanup of this, like your brushes and things, it couldn't get any easier because it's just soap in there. So just clean with water. Okay, so environmentally friendly, contains no petrochemicals or VOCs. So, anyways, I'm sure that was boring, but I just wanted to get some of those details mentioned because I'm sure I would forget them. So it's dried pretty good. There's a couple streaks. I mean, not streaks, but just some of the soap still kind of drying. So let me lay down a third coat. Like I said, you really can't mess this up. So you can apply it with confidence, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And maybe kind of go nice and easy. Kind of the rougher you are with it, it might tend to kind of lather up a bit. So just maybe kind of nice, slow, easy strokes. I know I've been kind of slapping it on here, probably because I'm in a hurry because of this video. I don't want it to be a 30-minute long video necessarily. But we're just kind of wanting to soak it, just like you would oiling wood. Okay, that's pretty nice and wet. And honestly, I don't know how many coats it'll take, but this is coat 3. Why am I starting at the middle of the board here? Oh well. I like this big knot here. It's kind of nice. So again, I've been a soap maker for 30 years. Creamy soaps I kind of specialize in, I specialize in bar soap. That's kind of been my specialty, but I've been making other soaps lately, like cleaning soaps, like a linseed. Can you see that? Okay. Like linseed soap, but this is like a newer product. And like I said, we've been soaping the wood at Creamy Soaps for many years. And honestly, I have to be honest, it wasn't until about maybe 10 years ago that I actually learned that this was a thing. I didn't ever realize that soap can be used as a wood finish. We were just kind of, it was just naturally happening, at Creamy Soap. So anyways, this is third coat, and so I'll come back when that's dry. Okay, so back to our soap boards. So it's been 24 hours, and it has I've applied 3 coats, and it feels pretty darn good. It's what I wanted to mention is that it shouldn't feel sticky and tacky and kind of waxy. All that soap is actually for the most part absorbed into the wood, and it feels pretty soft and dry, like it as if it really didn't even have anything on it. But I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna apply one more coat, I think, maybe 2. Um, but on this next one, I think I'm gonna do a little wet sanding, just very lightly, after I apply the soap, and I'm gonna see how that goes. I could just dry. Actually, maybe I'll do one board, kind of a dry sand, and then the other one I'll do a wet sand and see which one I like better. So I'll sand the one here on the right, doing just kind of a dry sand very lightly. It's actually very smooth. Like I said, these boards, they've been pretty weathered, so this is probably going to be a little bit different for you if you're using brand new lumber. Okay. So with that little bit of sanding, you can see it removed just ever so slightly some of the soap and maybe a little bit of the wood. So I think I'll use a towel here and just kind of wipe any of that dust off. Oops. Okay, so let's give I stirred it yesterday, obviously, but just a little stir. And the cool thing about this is, the cleanup, I left the brush because I was thinking I was going to come back to the project yesterday, but I did not. So the soap has kind of hardened on the brush a little bit. It's kind of dried up a bit, but not a problem. So this will be the 4th coat. The bristles are a little stiff, but they'll loosen up. It's almost like applying like a liquid wax in a way. Still soaking in pretty good. I can feel the brush kind of dragging. It's not gliding, across the board. I mean, unless I apply quite a bit of the soap. Okay, so let's do this board, and then I'll do a quick little wet sanding to it. You really can't mess this up. I mean, I guess it's probably one of the easiest finishes to apply and to work with. Okay. Let me throw just a little bit extra on there since I'm going to be wet sanding. Just a little heavier. And this board isn't bad. Like I said, it's already been kind of, out in the weather, and I've sanded it, so it's already kind of, any of the grain that maybe would have been an issue I've already removed, but this is just kind of giving you an idea. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. It's kind of lathering up, as you can see. So what I think I'll do is, I don't know, I'm feeling like I want to add just a little bit more to this board. I don't know why I'm feeling that. Just to maybe kind of get that lather kind of, I'm just, trying to work that soap into the wood. You can see here on this board on the right in the front there, it's kind of right in here. I mean, it's still damp, but it's soaking in pretty good. Okay, so the board on the right, it's been a few minutes. It has 4 coats, and it's been sitting and kind of soaking up. You can kind of see some of the wet spots still. And then the board on the left here, this one has a bit more. I added, probably 5 or 6 coats, right? Because I added some extra and then I even went back over it. So it's on the very end down there. You can see where the soap, it's kind of looking like it's soaked in, kind of looking dry. So you could stop here. I mean, you really could. But I'm just kind of wanting to get an idea and show you, the steps, and and we're going to find out, how much soap it's going to absorb. So okay, so I'm going to keep going here. It's the board on the right has 4 coats, and I'm going to call that approximately 6 coats on the left. And the board on the left's kind of slowing down a little bit. So this is all, it's only been, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. So it soaks in pretty fast, at least on these boards. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Maybe I'll throw one on this side too, because I see it's soaking in, drying up. There are still some streaks of wet soap, but I know this video is getting long, and thanks for watching. I was realizing, I'm multitasking here, watching the camera, being mindful of my microphone, the project, what I want to say, and I'm not very good at it, but hopefully I get smoother at it. But I guess it's kind of like walking and chewing gum. I'm doing too many things at once. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I'll let this dry for a bit. Okay, it's been another 10 minutes, and I'm seeing here that the board on the left is still pretty wet, so that has about approximately 7 coats on it. I think that's where it gets maxed out. This one, on the other hand, on the right, still soaking it up, so I'm gonna put one more down. And like I said, you don't have to put this many coats on. I mean, you could have stopped at 3 coats and it would have been just fine. I'm just kind of seeing the maximum, right? Kind of like if you were putting linseed oil on a shovel handle, you might just throw a coat on there or 2. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily put 7 coats on, would you? I mean, you would just do it over time, right? So this is, like I said, this is a finish that continues to build up over time. Okay, looking pretty good. Okay, so it's been like maybe another 10 minutes, and I think we're done. So I'm going to wipe off the excess. It's the board on the right, 6 coats, the board on the left, 7, and I think it's feeling full. So now what I'm going to do is just take an old cotton towel here and just before it the soap dries, it's kind of like waxing your car, right? When that wax dries, it's a little harder to remove, so maybe just grab it while it's still kind of moist. Anyways, I'm just removing most of it, and then I'll come back later and give it a little buff. Okay, it looks pretty good. Okay, I'm back. It's been about 3 hours, and it's all dried up. I mean, the soap's dry, the board's dry. I guess I could have left it overnight, but anyways, I kind of wanted to just finish up this video. But so final step here is just kind of give it a little bit of a like a buff. Just you're kind of removing some of the excess soap that's been sitting on there, or that that you didn't get up. Wow, it was a difficult time here. Okay, so it looks pretty good. And this side, so this side 6 coats, this got 7 coats. You don't have to do this last step. I mean, I guess it's kind of optional, but really you should get that soap residue, all the excess off, because it could attract dirt, and you might, if it's on the floor, you might be walking around your house, tracking it around. But I guess I'll leave that up to you to decide. It's your project, what you think's best. Okay, so I would say that's all the excess residue is off and it feels nice and dry. Sorry about the light. It's kind of in the afternoon here in the sun. I lost my good lighting, but anyways, I guess that's it for now. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully it wasn't too long. If you have any questions, or if I forgot something, or if I got something wrong, if you want to leave a comment, a compliment, a criticism. I'm sure some of you guys are wood experts, and I'm sure I got some of this wrong, but but I think you guys kind of all get the general idea. So anyways, I appreciate you watching.